Hola muchachos, ¿qué tal? Buenas tardes. Aquí tienen el horario de hoy. Hoy es viernes, el 5 de noviembre. You guys did not have any homework due for today. Your learning target for today is to talk and write about who you know and what you know how to do using the verb saber and conocer. First and foremost, though, our warm-up is to fill in the blank with the correct term of tan or tanto, making comparisons of equality. As we're working on these last class, doing a great job comparing any variety of topics, your extracurriculars, musical preferences. You guys were comparing your classes. And what you're going to do for this warm-up is determine which of those two terms should be used. Tan, and remember based on our notes that tan is used with only adjectives when you're comparing two things using a descriptive adjective, and then tanto or tanta or tantos or tantas, one of the other forms, is used with nouns, right? When a noun is being used to compare two things as being equal, to say as many as or as much as. So that's the warm-up, filling in the blank with either tan or one of the forms of tanto, the blank being where the question marks are. And then we're going to get into, so we have two more grammatical concepts to look at for chapter 1b before we test out of this, not next week, but the week thereafter, the week before Thanksgiving. And that is saber and conocer. So that's what we're going to take notes on today. On page 56, saber and conocer both mean to know, but they're used in different contexts. So here you have the verb saber and its conjugations in the present tense, and the verb conocer. Again, both of these mean to know, and both of them have an irregular conjugation in the yo form. Irregular meaning that you don't just drop the er and add a no, that there's an irregular ending in the case of saber, and then in the case of conocer, there's a stem change, a minor stem change. You can see that that's highlighted there. And I'll share the video with you that kind of walks you through the differences, but we'll also take a look at the PowerPoint here in the agenda, which you can download by clicking on that hyperlink. Basically, the difference between saber and conocer is that saber is used with verbs, infinitives to indicate what you know how to do, right? As a talent or a skill. So you're always going to see saber used with verbs in the infinitive because you're indicating what you know how to do. And then you're also going to use the verb saber with interrogatives. Interrogatives being the who, what, when, where, why, and how. Interrogatives in Spanish you may recall from the beginning of the year. Donde, por qué, cuándo, cuánto, quién. Those are all interrogatives, and saber is used with interrogatives because you're talking about knowledge, factual information. So saber we use when we talk about knowledge, information, and then also when we talk about knowing how to do something. So we're going to do a little conversation practice together in class to ask, do you know how to do these different activities, right? ¿Sabes bailar la salsa? Do you know how to dance salsa? ¿Sabes nadar? You can see saber is used with verbs in the infinitive form, talking about skills, right? Knowing how to do something. And then saber is also used with interrogatives, and we'll look at some examples in the video, and then in some of the guided practice that we'll do at the end of this PowerPoint. Conocer, and there you have the conjugations above in the present tense of conocer, is used essentially with nouns, people, places, or things, to talk about your familiarity with those people. Knowing someone, knowing some place, and knowing, an idea, if you will, something. But mainly with people and places, we use conocer. So, knowing a person, knowing a place, we use the verb conocer. We'll do a little conversation practice about who you would like to know and a little bit of why. And then we'll finish off our notes filling in the blank with the correct form of saber or conocer. And then you'll use the subject in the sentence to determine whether to use saber or conocer. If it's a person, like number 1, la novia de Ryan is Ryan's girlfriend. If you're talking about knowing a person or a place, well, then you would use the verb conocer. Conversely, if you're talking about knowing information, like cuando llega el tren, cuando is an interrogative, refers to information. So saber would be the verb that we would use when you're talking about knowledge of something, a fact, or like for number 6, with a verb, knowing how to do something. So we'll complete exercises 1 through 12 out of the PowerPoint, and that'll be it, muchachos. That's where we're going to finish, is just finishing those notes, becoming familiar with the uses of saber and conocer and how they're conjugated. No homework for the weekend. Enjoy your weekend. Next weekend, we got a 4-day weekend and a short week coming up. So we have that to look forward to as well. But no homework at all. Relax and enjoy. And that is what our agenda is for today, muchachos. Viernes el 5 de noviembre.